The morning in Quezon City began quietly, the kind of quiet that carried tired sounds instead of peace. The air was warm and heavy, already filled with distant traffic, soft voices, and the slow hum of life waking up. Small houses stood close together, their tin roofs catching the early light. In one of those houses lived a girl named Emily Carter. She was 16 years old, thin from years of not eating enough, and gentle in a way that made her seem younger than she was. Emily woke before the sun most days. Not because she wanted to, but because life had trained her body to rise early. That morning, she sat up on her thin mattress and listened. Her little brother was still asleep on the floor beside her, his breathing shallow but steady. Her mother coughed in the next room, a dry cough that never seemed to end. Emily closed her eyes for a moment and took a slow breath, preparing herself for the day. She loved mornings when the city was still half asleep. Those moments felt safe. They felt like pauses where nothing bad could happen yet. Emily quietly stepped outside, careful not to wake anyone. The narrow street smelled of damp concrete and old food, but to her it was familiar. She leaned against the wall and let the breeze brush her face. In her chest lived a soft, fragile hope that she tried to protect. Emily loved to sing. Singing was the only thing that made her feel whole. When she sang, the noise of the city faded, and the heaviness inside her chest loosened. Her voice was clear and emotional, shaped by years of whispering songs to herself in the dark. But singing was not something she was allowed to enjoy freely. Her problem was simple and cruel. Her family was very poor. Her father had left years ago, and her mother worked long hours doing laundry for others. It was never enough. One day, a man named Robert Hale had noticed Emily singing quietly near a bus stop. He wore clean clothes and spoke with confidence. He told her mother that Emily could earn money by singing in public places around Quezon City. At first, it sounded like help. But it was not help. It became a command. Robert controlled where Emily sang, when she sang, and how long she stood there. If she was tired, it did not matter. If she was sick, it did not matter. People stopped to listen, some with kindness, others with curiosity, and some with nothing at all. Coins dropped into a small box, and at the end of the day, Robert took most of it. That morning, Emily already knew what was coming. She heard Robert's voice outside before she saw him. His footsteps were firm, impatient. He knocked loudly, too loudly for such an early hour. Emily's mother opened the door, her shoulders slumped, her eyes tired. There was no argument. There never was. Emily changed into a simple dress and tied her hair back. Her mother avoided her eyes. Emily did not blame her. Hunger can silence love in painful ways. As they walked, Emily held her breath, memorizing the sky, the street, the sounds, as if storing them inside her for later comfort. They reached a busy corner near a market. Vendors were setting up stalls. Buses roared past. Robert pointed to a spot near a wall and told Emily to stand there. He placed the box on the ground and crossed his arms. Emily swallowed and nodded. She began to sing. Her voice rose softly at first, trembling like a small light in a crowded place. Slowly, it grew stronger. People turned their heads. Some stopped. A few closed their eyes. Emily sang about longing, about waiting, about hope that refuses to die. She sang because it was the only way she knew how to survive the moment. As the hours passed, her throat burned. Her legs ached. The sun climbed higher, pressing heat onto her skin. Still, she sang. Coins fell into the box. Robert watched closely. When Emily paused to breathe, he cleared his throat sharply, reminding her to continue. In the middle of the afternoon, something unexpected happened. A woman named Sarah Miller stopped in front of Emily. Sarah was American, visiting Quezon City for volunteer work. She had been walking through the market, distracted and tired, when Emily's voice reached her. It cut through the noise and stopped her in place. Sarah listened carefully. She noticed the way Emily sang with her whole body, the way her eyes looked far away, as if she were somewhere safer. Sarah felt a tightness in her chest. She did not see a street singer. She saw a child carrying a weight too heavy for her age. When Emily finished the song, Sarah stepped closer. She placed money into the box, more than most people did. But instead of walking away, she stayed. Emily lowered her eyes, unsure. Robert watched them both, his expression sharp. Sarah spoke gently. She asked Emily her name. Emily answered softly. Sarah asked how long she had been singing there. Emily hesitated, then told the truth. Robert interrupted, saying Emily loved singing and was lucky to earn money. His words sounded practiced. Sarah nodded, but her eyes did not leave Emily. She thanked her for the song and walked away, but she did not forget. The next day, Sarah came back. And the next. She listened every time, staying longer, watching more closely. She noticed how Robert never left, how Emily never smiled between songs, how tired she looked. Sarah spoke to other vendors and learned small pieces of the story. The picture became clearer, and it broke her heart. The gentle twist came quietly, not like a rescue scene in a movie, but like a door opening slowly. Sarah worked with a local community center run by a man named David Thompson, another American who had lived in the Philippines for years. Together, they spoke to local authorities and social workers. It took time. It took patience. It took careful steps to avoid making things worse. One afternoon, Emily arrived to sing and saw Sarah and David waiting. Robert was there too, his face darkening. The conversation that followed was calm but firm. Words like protection, rights, and safety were used. Robert argued, then grew quiet. For the first time, Emily saw him step back. Emily was taken to the community center that day. She cried the entire ride, not from fear, but from confusion. Change can feel terrifying, even when it is good. Her mother was brought in later, ashamed and scared, but relieved beyond words. No one shouted. No one blamed. They talked, slowly and gently. The center helped Emily's family with food, medical care, and small work opportunities for her mother. Emily was given time to rest. For days, she barely spoke. She slept, drank warm soup, and sat by a window, watching trees move in the wind. No one forced her to sing. One evening, David asked Emily if she wanted to sing, just for herself. He said it was her choice. Emily nodded. She stood in a small room with soft light and sang quietly. There was no box on the floor. No one watching for money. Just her voice, free and unafraid. Her voice sounded different then. Lighter. Still sad, but healing. Months passed. Emily attended classes at the center. She learned reading skills she had missed. She laughed more. Her brother gained weight and color. Her mother smiled again, slowly, like someone learning how. Emily still sang, but now she sang at small events organized by the center, always by choice. Sarah attended when she could, sitting in the back, clapping softly. Emily never forgot her, but she also learned not to depend on one person alone. The ending of Emily's story was not perfect, but it was real. She still lived in Quezon City. Life was still hard, but she was no longer forced. Her voice belonged to her. And every time she sang, it was not from pain alone, but from strength she had discovered inside herself. In the quiet moments, Emily remembered the mornings when the city was half asleep. Now, those moments felt different. They felt like beginnings, not warnings.